Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk, first episode of the year and of the new season. I'm your host, Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Sorry, I threw him off because I didn't introduce myself. You're used to me introducing myself, so that probably threw you off.
It's alright, I was able to recover.
Yeah. So, with the new season, we'll kind of keep to the same format this for now. But I do want, so there's no Star Wars news. So we'll just go ahead and talk about what we've been up to this week, as well as jumping right into our topic for today, which is the Revelations 2023 one-shot. Because we talked about the 2022 one-shot, now they did one for 2023, and it kind of shows what's going to happen, what comics are coming out this year. So let's start with what we've been up to this week, and I'll let you start.
I had most of this week off, so I was able to spend a lot of time with people I care about, like you, my brother, and the rest of my family.
Yeah, because it was the, not quite the, we had Christmas already before the season ended, but we had our New Year's holidays come up in between the end of last episode and this episode. So we had our New Year's times.
Yeah. Fuck the Nashville Mines. I hate them.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about our Baldur's Gate run.
Alright, yeah.
So, let's see.
Not 3, mind you.
No, we've been doing 1.
1.
You, me, and Drew, your brother.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the bear incident.
Yep. I have...
So you die. So we're still in chapter 2, which is where we left off last time we talked about it. But we are now at the 3rd level of the Nashville Mines, at least. We're 3 floors in, which I believe this is either the last floor or there's one more. I think there's one more. I think there's one more floor.
So, an important thing to note about our going through
is that we're not playing on the easiest difficulty.
We're not playing on the easiest difficulty.
In fact, we're playing core rules.
Playing core rules. And some of us have chosen archetypes
that don't allow armor. Or ranged weapons.
If you're me, no ranged weapons.
Yeah. So I don't have armor. Well, so I have a helmet, because I can put a helmet on still. I think you could also put a helmet on.
I probably could.
The helmets are sometimes, they're 50-50 when it comes to whether or not you can actually wear it and it counts. And then you can't have ranged weapons, because I keep trying to give you them, and then I keep forgetting you can't have them.
Yeah, you keep handing them to me, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this?
I guess so.
I can't use this. So, like, I can carry them.
Yeah. But, which was good, because Emmeline got a little bit.
Yeah.
She was carrying a little bit too much for a minute there on the 2nd floor. Which is also where you died.
Yeah. I rounded a wrong corner and 7 kobolds, lit me up.
To be fair, I also died during that session. But when I die, it's extra bad.
When you die, it's bad.
Because we have to reload the save.
Yeah. If I die or Andrew dies,
it's bad because I have to spend
because we have to backtrack. But it's fine.
It's actually really cheap for D&D 2nd edition, because
it's 100 gold.
It's only 100 gold, and that doesn't feel in the spirit of the Gygax D&D way. And that is fuck the players. That's the Gygax way. We talked about that after. Because as I was leaving, we were talking about
we were like, it is a way to play that game.
Yeah, the Gygax way is fuck the players, make it as hard as possible, and treat them like they're not your friends. Which then probably makes them not your friends.
Yeah. You know...
Like, it probably...
Last night was a fun game for us.
Oh, yeah.
When
so
you guys get
D&D,
the chance...
We also played D&D last night.
Yes.
Which I need to edit that episode, and then we'll have it on the Patreon, hopefully today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I was going to talk about that as well. Yeah, y'all had a challenging fight. We had a guest come in.
And
they made chaos.
A maelstrom of chaos came with them.
But it was fun. It made for, I think, a good session.
Maelstrom, sorry. not Maelstrom.
I think it made a good session at the end of the day. I think
you nearly threw my brother into the fire.
I nearly threw him and
Yeah.
Steve into the fire. To be fair.
Yeah.
This is out of context. We will not add context.
No
here,
context.
But y'all can.
I will say,
on Patreon.
If you think Boone is tired of everyone's shit now,
which honestly they have no context for Boone yet.
Yeah.
Because the episode, unless you've been watching on Patreon, because the episodes are not on YouTube yet, or they're not live on YouTube yet. They're on there. I upload ahead of time, but they're not live.
You should just send like the other group some no context like shorts from our group and be like, these are the guys that are gonna help you later.
Well, they don't know.
They don't know.
Yet.
I know because you and I talk about things.
Yeah, but
there are some things that even I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out some stuff for that, but yeah, and then the guest that came in is also gonna be part of a campaign that we're gonna continue because we started that campaign on the channel, but it was one of those interim set campaigns where it was in between one of his because he runs games that I play, so he finished his campaign and I said I'll take over for a little bit while that way you get a break, and so we did Pirates of the Siren Sea, our Theros campaign, and that's gonna come back hopefully soon. Well, soonish. I give it a few months because we're finishing up the campaign that DM is running now, and then once that campaign ends, we'll bring Theros back for a little bit.
That's the like Greek inspired one, right?
That's the Greek Magic the Gathering setting. So it's your Greek pirates. Poor Swabby.
Oh man.
Poor Swabby.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember watching those.
No, I don't. I think I started to, and I didn't get the chance to finish.
I think you've met Swabby though. That's their.
I don't think so.
That's the little boy that's like their deck hand.
Oh man.
Because you gotta have every pirate crew. You gotta have the kid that's like
you fucked kid.
That's like cleaning the decks and all that. You gotta have.
Oh, you poor kid.
Yeah.
A pirate's life is not for you.
Especially in this setting, because it's you're dealing with the undead and gods and.
They're what I would describe as uppity.
So, but it's fun.
Because they dig up from their graves.
Yeah. It's also the setting where where Alex's player is now a king of a land that he has never seen.
Grand old time.
Yeah. Only because he won a challenge that technically he should not have won, but they found a
loophole.
A loophole, yeah.
Just Gordian knot solution.
It was hey, I'm gonna put you in this vase.
And
if you are too big, then you don't get to be king. But if you are too small, you don't get to be king. You have to fit just right in there. And behind the scenes of how that situation goes, which is also spoilers for the Theros adventure. So if you plan to run that,
spoiler warning.
Yeah, if you plan to run that, because the Theros book comes with a beginner adventure in the back, as a lot of setting books from D&D do. Because a lot of setting books will include at least one adventure that's like, here's a tiny adventure that you can run so you get the idea of the flavor of the setting. And I ran that for them, and we've gone past that. Like after the first 2 to 3 episodes of it, I think we're past that because some of that stuff it became a Star Trek type almost, where it's like episode of the week sort of deal.
Yeah.
Episodic. But with like a larger story still in there. Anyways, for that particular event in that adventure, the guy, Broken King Antigonos, this Minotaur that they find who's like a cursed king and he's trying to find an heir. But he also worships the evil god.
Oh man.
So but also so does Alex's character. So like they connected on that level.
Oh man.
But Alex is also playing a character who does not view him as an evil god. He's like, yes, he's the Lord of Murder and Death. This is fine.
All good.
Yeah, and so it's essentially their equivalent of like Ball
Mm.
In Theros. And so Antigonos basically is like, if you're too big, then I have to make you fit, right?
Mm. Oh boy.
So then he decapitates or cuts off whatever
Yeah.
and kills you tries to kill you that way, which would start a fight. The other way is if you're too small, which is what Alex was.
Mm.
He has to then fill in the vase with dirt and stuff
Yeah.
to make you fit, which is supposed to start to make you suffocate
Mm-hmm.
because you're too small, and therefore you would be in there completely, and therefore you would suffocate once he fills it up. Once again, supposed to start a fight.
Yeah.
He passed a constitution check or something. I can't remember specifically. He passed a check that basically made it to where he survived once the pot was filled up, and then he got out, and he was like, and Antigonus was like, well, you won. You fit the criteria. You are now my heir. And then they killed him and took his crown. And
You're goddamn right.
They tricked him into dying. Basically, they tricked him into drowning himself, and they took his crown in the process, so that way Alex could have it. And
yeah, that seems about right for how that story's supposed to go.
And that's with Josh, Alex, and one of the other players. So with Josh and Alex,
that checks out.
That checks out for you, knowing those two in particular. Because I think you've run in with Alex, but you haven't played a game with him. But you've played with Josh.
Yeah.
So you know.
While we were discussing things in the car, I'm like, he's very entertaining. He's very entertaining.
And I love him.
But he's also
it's because
agitating.
I think it's because as a DM, he plays things a little more seriously most of the time, although he is like goofy every now and then. But I would say most of his DM style tone is more serious storytelling.
Yeah.
And so I think as a player, he decides to be more liberated.
Time to go and do a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah. I feel like as a player, he's
goofy.
like freedom time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why things happen the way they do whenever Josh is a player. But it definitely...
I'm also thinking, like...
I think as a DM, it makes it fun for me. And I think for players, it can come off as either fun or... slightly annoying, but like in a way that you're not angry by the end of the session.
Yeah.
Like you're just like
I was thinking about. I'm like, I was explaining how like to the rest of them. I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about Josh. I'm not sure if I'm upset because he like accidentally almost got us all killed. Or that this motherfucker wouldn't shut up and quit making grandiose speeches while we're trying to stay alive.
But also, I think that fit the the character he was playing.
Yeah.
So I think that works on a DM level, which is why I'm not frustrated when it happens. But I understand where as a player it can come frustrating.
Mm.
But I think by the end of the day, I think even as players, you all have to agree it was fun. It was still fun, even if there was like some frustration there.
Yeah, I'm debating whether or not I'm leaning more towards. It's probably just.
It was just
the revelry of it.
It was just a good time, yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all almost TPK'd. I will reveal that.
Yeah.
But I think also we talked about this in the car. I think that's a challenge y'all needed because y'all haven't really been challenged that way in a minute.
Mm.
It's been a minute since y'all came that close to death actually in the game.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what the fuck my team was doing. Boone is like, all right, we have a thing to do.
Yeah.
We need to go and do just that thing.
And
whatever happens, happens. Meanwhile, my team is like,
yeah.
You can go and watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, I think y'all... And I think it wasn't a mistake what they did. I think it just... because of the chaos on top of that created a scenario where environmental things were going on at the same time, making the fight harder. Because y'all would have won. I think if Josh didn't do what he did, y'all would have cleared probably within the first two rounds of combat. Because immediately you took out one guy immediately.
Yeah, and apparently
on the first turn of the combat.
Yeah, And apparently Josh was like, man, they're really stomping him out. And I'm like, I've killed one guy.
I mean, it was fast, though. Like,
Yeah, I kill people quickly sometimes, okay?
yeah.
That's what the build is for.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah. So that happened, and so I think it makes...
I think it's just been a while since I've played it with Josh.
Yeah. I think it's a fun session at the end of the day, and I think as an audience, it's probably going to be even more fun. Just listening to it and watching it as that environmental piece grows and grows, because I got to have fun with the environmentals.
The other...
I actually had to quickly grab a piece of image for that. By the way, I was downloading it, I was like, I gotta grab an image for that, because originally I just squiggled into it, and I was like... And then I thought about it, I was like, I actually want this environmental thing to grow. Yeah. So I had to download a picture of it and then
So the other thing that has happened this week...
let's move away from...
For longtime viewers of the channel, I am a big Fallout fan.
Mm-hmm.
This will not be aired to the channel, but I'm gonna try the tabletop game with you and Andrew.
Yeah,
this
is one of your games, which we don't
record them.
We just have fun with this.
Yeah. We're gonna see how that goes.
I'm making a Mr. Handy.
So I was looking through the pre-builts earlier.
Oh, is there a pre-built that?
There is a pre-built Mr. Handy if you would like. Or we can keep the one you've got going.
I kind of like what we're doing.
Okay, we'll use that one then.
I think it'll be fun.
All right.
Because I feel like I don't mind a pre-built character, but I have a feeling that their pre-built is very vanilla and very much like it's meant to introduce you to how to play the game, as most good pre-built characters should be. Most pre-built characters should be very simply designed with the idea of this is probably a person who has never made a character in this system. And so
here is this thing.
Yeah, here's a character, and here's the class, and here's how you play that.
Yep.
And so, but since we kind of have some knowledge of Fallout going in, we don't have knowledge entirely of this tabletop system, but we have knowledge of Fallout, and I think that is helping with transferring to this tabletop system, because from the rules that we've read, you've read the whole book now.
Yeah, I read the whole rule book.
I am still reading the compendium version. And which I think your version is technically also the compendium, because you got the beginner box set. You didn't get the official, you didn't get the full rule.
I didn't get the big, here is everything. I got
a beginner box.
Here's what you need to do for the basics of the game, and immediately jump in.
It's any beginner box set where it's just here's the simple rules just to get you started. Just so you can get going.
The other thing is, I was able to snag Fallout 4, so I'm gonna play through that.
Yeah.
Because it's a game that I've seen playthroughs of and how people go about it, and different snippets of, but I've never sat down and played it all the way through myself.
And I am curious on your thoughts of it, because I know you're definitely you prefer the more old school style of Fallout, which is more... People tend to like New Vegas more than 3 if you're an old head version of Fallout, which is you.
Yeah.
Although you're not as big into 1 and 2 as a lot of those types of old heads.
No.
A lot of those type of people that are hardcore New Vegas fans are also 1 and 2 fans, and prefer the 1 and 2 style of storytelling to say 3. But you're a little bit more lenient to 3 than a lot of those type of fans. So I'm curious on your leniency with 4 when it comes to... Because a lot of people... The main issues they have with 3 and 4 is lore stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to, the lore doesn't fit 1 and 2. And people argue that New Vegas fits that more. I think it's more of the fact that New Vegas is the closest to a Western. Which is what 1 and 2 are, really. Whereas 3 is less that.
Yeah, 3 is definitely less that.
Whereas New Vegas is definitely more Western, it's more it's more the cowboy Western aesthetic, because it's in Vegas, so it's in the West, so therefore that makes sense. Whereas 1 and 2 also have that aesthetic because they're in California, which are once again the West, and so Although 1 and 2 also have a Mad Max approach as well.
Yeah, I would say that.
They're westerns
Like-
mixed with Mad Max.
Yeah, that would be a more accurate way of describing what 1 and 2 look like.
And then New Vegas kind of doesn't quite bring the Mad Max aesthetic back.
No, it doesn't.
But they,
Like, there's a few like moments where it's like, yeah. Yep, talking to this
I think
guy with no pants on and a leather vest.
I think the love of the Bethesda versions, which ones you like more, come down to whether or not you prefer the Mad Max part or the Western part of Fallout. Because 1 and 2 are a blend of that. 3 is the Mad Max heavy. Like, it leans into more of the Mad Max stuff. Now you're not driving cars or anything like that. But, like, Mad Max in, like, the tone and the, like...
I will say this about 3. Those cars explode a lot more than I thought they would.
Yeah. But it's more heavy. It's more similar to Mad Max in tone. Whereas New Vegas is more the Western part. And drifts. They picked a lane essentially.
Yeah.
3 picked the lane of Mad Max. New Vegas picked the lane of Western, and then 4 didn't really pick either.
As I understand it, I'm going in with the knowledge that 4 has a lot of pros and cons, so I'm gonna see how I feel about it at the end of all this.
Like, I'd say 4 is more similar to 3, but also 3 and 4 were actually made by Bethesda, whereas New Vegas was made by Obsidian, so different development teams, and therefore, that's why tone's going to be different, and that's why 3 and 4.
So far, I've gotten, I've gone and I've hung out with the Minutemen. I've seen Paladin dance. I've helped him with one problem.
Okay, so
and he's like, "Would you like to join the Brotherhood?" And I'm like, "Let me think on it. I got other things to go do."
You started to have your footing in the Commonwealth. At this point.
I've met Piper, currently traveling with her.
Yeah. Good starting companion.
Yeah. I've helped out a little bit around Diamond City.
Have you met Nick yet? I feel like
I am on the way to find Nick Valentine.
I was gonna say, I feel like Nick is your type of like character.
I have killed so many people just getting there.
I was gonna say, I feel like Nick fits the tone of the type of companions I feel like you would like. Because you also, like, I feel like the one part that is off-putting that you would not like is that he's a ghoul. Because you are not a ghoul.
Nick Valentine is not a ghoul.
Or, sorry, you're right. My brain just...
Although, in New Vegas, there is a character named Raul Tejeda, and he is a ghoul.
Sorry. He's a synth.
Yeah.
My brain, for some reason...
So far, the only synths that the protagonist that I'm playing has encountered have been the ones with Paladin dance.
Yeah. I feel like synths would not be your flavor, like, because I feel like... I don't know. I feel like you would be like, oh, this person isn't... It's the droids talk.
It's the droids again?
Yeah, it's the Star Wars droids talk.
I was going to say something, and I'm like, nope, not saying that one on air.
Escape Reality Star Wars talk canceled.
Yeah, that's...
But yeah, I feel like... Because I don't know which way you're going to lean when it comes to the Railroad versus... Because you also do not like corporations either.
Yeah.
You don't like Big Corp, which is definitely the other end of the spectrum.
So my options are techno zealots, toaster lovers, or the mad scientists, or the Minutemen.
Yeah.
I think I'll keep up with the Minutemen. Fuck the rest of you. You can sort yourselves out.
Because the one problem with 4 compared to other ones is you have to pick a side.
Yeah.
The other ones you can kind of like go the middle of the road pretty much 90% of the way.
Yeah, up until like games like time to make a decision.
But 4 definitely is like you need to pick.
Yeah. New Vegas gives you the option.
And you can.
And once you
New Vegas gives you the option to say fuck all sides actually.
Yeah.
Whereas 4 definitely goes no, you gotta pick a side.
Here are your options: A, B, C, or D.
Yeah. No E. You don't
pick one.
You don't get to do all. You don't get to do none. You got to pick one.
And I was also thinking, a lot of people have like an issue kind of like with the opening premise of the game. And I don't know, maybe I was just feeling especially emotional that day, but I actually really like it.
I think it's a good starting premise. I like the premise of this is a man at a time, or woman at a time. This is a protagonist at a time.
Yeah.
Who is just trying to find their family.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to find your wife. She's across.
But you know what I mean. Like you're trying to find your. It's the reverse of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
And I think
you're not looking for your dad. You're looking for your
son.
Child.
And I also think it's a nice start that gets you right into the story.
Yeah.
Because the start is you get to see the bombs drop, and you have to, you got to get to the bomb shelter, and it gets you right to the action of the story. And the way I also think the premise very similar to 3. I think all the Fallout game, 3, New Vegas, and 4 have all had really good character creators as well, where they introduce you to the world while having you build your character. New Vegas less so. New Vegas is more here's a slot machine essentially, just about.
Yeah.
But 3 and 4 are very much. Hi, welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
3 and 4 are definitely more introduce you to the world and kind of narratively have you make your character. Because you pick your name. No, we've
been doing this for a while.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
But 3.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for joining for a little bit. 3 and 4 though kind of have that shift of like you pick your name. In 3, it's because you're born.
Yep.
4 is you're giving your paperwork to the government. But it introduces you to the world.
Yeah.
And whereas a lot of other RPGs are just like, fill out your stuff real quick.
Yep.
I think Skyrim also does it well, because it does the similar thing of, what's your name? And
yeah. I don't spend a lot of time in character creators. This is a thing that you know. Because of how I'm just like, bam.
The one time we tried to play Baldur's Gate 3, you were somehow faster at building your character than I was when I was playing Gale Origin. Which means I don't have choices other than my spells. And what type of wizard I want to be. Because you don't have to be evocation, but evocation is like the preset for Gale. But you don't have to be evocation. Evocation's useful though. I think it's the most useful because it's the most wide spread of like different types of magic. But anyways, yeah.
Personally, I'm fond of abjuration magic.
Abjuration's good. But evocation kind of comes across the board because it has both. It has both not quite healing, but it has like assisting spells as well as attack spells, and I think it has that good balance of it.
Mostly because I favor spells like shield and absorb elements.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to be an abjuration wizard to have those spells. It's just it becomes cheaper to learn them if you decide to use a spell scroll to learn your spells.
But then again, I don't ever play wizards, so...
Also, most people in D&D tabletop don't do the scrolls to learn spells.
Yep.
Even though you can. It's just...
No one ever uses it.
Yeah, no one... It's only in video games.
Yeah.
It's only in D&D video games that it happens.
Then, in my defense, like, for my setting, there is the Mages College. You can just go and spend a week there, and they will teach it to you.
You still have to pay the gold.
You still have to pay them.
Yeah, because that's the price of learning spells in D&D is you pay the gold, and then it's halved if it's your specialty.
Cool thing about setting, cantrips are free.
I think that's... Well, that's not true, actually. I was going to say I think that's most D&D, but,
Yeah, no.
Usually they're cheaper, though, because they're cantrips.
But yeah, I'm going through Fallout 4. I've killed so many people, and I'm looking for Nick Valentine, so you can help me look for my son. Piper's there, too.
Yep.
So far, Piper and I are cool. I also when first entering the city, watched a man get shot down for being a synth, and I then proceeded to immediately take caps and 10 bullets off his corpse.
Yeah.
To which the police were like, hey, you can't do that.
Did you get to enjoy your power armor at the start?
I enjoyed the power armor.
I think a lot of people complain about that start because they're like, oh, you have to earn your power armor. You still have to earn it because it dies immediately. Like, you use it and then the power dies, and then you gotta go through the process of getting power cells.
I
guess if you hang out with Paladin Dance, then
it took me a minute to actually get out of the power armor. Eventually, I figured it out. But now I have a bunch of power armor parts that I need to go and put on the actual thing.
And also, you can upgrade it. I think that's the other benefit of them starting. It creates this cool starting moment, and then you still have to earn it.
Yeah.
You still have to,
also, hello.
Yeah. You still
Sorry.
you still have to get your power for it, and then you still have to get some parts for it to work efficiently.
Not gonna lie. When I had played a little bit of this before a long time ago. Forgot about the Death Claw.
Yeah.
That got me. I was like, oh, alright, cool. Just blasting away. Oh, fuck, a Death Claw.
Which is why they give you power armor, because they're like, otherwise you would die.
Yeah, you would.
And honestly, you can still lose easily.
It's the mic.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah, he's coming through.
I don't see why it wouldn't be. I'm gonna just keep talking for a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you're coming in fine on our end.
But...
Or I guess I'm the one on the left.
Okay.
Which
so
I'm also coming in fine according to the...
So I've customized my, pistol. I want to put a silencer on the, 10mm pistol, but it's not... I don't have the requisite, perks for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been useful to have a quiet firearm while I was clearing out that ghoul den.
Yeah, I could see that.
As it turns out, it's not easy to clear out ghoul den when all of your guns make a bunch of noise.
Yeah, because then you just get all the ghouls coming at you.
In a small hallway.
Yeah. Anyways.
I did it, though.
Anyways, I think that's enough talk for what we've been up to this week.
So,
let's talk about today's topic.
Comics.
Yes. Today's topic is Star Wars Revelations 2023, which is the one-shot comic. That's a preview comic of what's going on. We are going to go into spoilers of the little shorts that they discuss that happen in the comic, as well as kind of theorizing what we think's kind of come up in the future of this year's comics. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
And so the first comic that they did a short to was the mainline story. And it's these are really short.
Yeah. A trick of the hand.
A trick of the mind.
Trick of the mind.
Yeah,
sorry.
Because it's a Jedi mind trick. Because they tried to do the Jedi mind trick defense in court.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Dengar is on trial for basically doing a Grand Theft Auto after a bender.
Yep. And they're like, tell me, Judge, have you ever heard of the Jedi mind trick? And the judge goes, as a matter of fact, the Jedi are dead. What the fuck are you talking about? Get out of my court.
Yeah, they go, we only recognize Imperial records, and according to Imperial records, there are no more Jedi. Even if there are rumors of such beings being around, there are no official records, and therefore...
Your argument ain't gonna hold up.
Yeah.
Get out of our court.
And so the lawyer is like, oh well. And Dengar's like, God damn it, I'm gonna kill you for... What kind of defense was that?
No, you're not.
And the lawyer's just like, I gave you the best defense I could, bro. You got caught. Like, they found the alcohol in your bloodstream. You went on a bender. Like, what'd you expect?
This is
after.
It would have to be.
This would be after episode 5. So this takes. So the current mainline Star Wars comic takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is where they currently are.
Yep.
It's closer to Return. We're at a point where a lot of people who read the Star Wars comics are kind of frustrated that we just aren't done with the current mainline arcs.
Yeah.
Because, one, I heard that the Dark Droid storyline, which we are going to review this year, is the weakest of the crossover arcs.
All right.
Um,
Is after Jedi Survivor.
yeah, so it'd be after Jedi Survivor. And then, like, so people are kind of frustrated that it's still going and that we are 3 years into a comic run. No, we're now hitting 4 because it started in 2020. So we're hitting the 4th year of that specific Star Wars run for a event that takes place over 1 year.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2015 run, which is the between episodes 4 and 5, is only ran for... Well, it ran for 5 years, which that's not bad, but... Because it ran from 2015 to 2020. But...
Yeah.
I mean, it feels short, though, because a lot of those ended sooner. Like, the Vader one ended pretty quick. In fact, there were 2 Vader runs during that time, because there was the 2015 run and then 2017, which the 2017 went back. It went to just after Revenge of the Sith.
So, the other thing with this one is, your defense isn't going to hold up for your client, Dengar. And I'm like, man, Dengar, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, last time we left him off, he is
Tasu
not in a good
beat
place.
The shit out of him.
Yeah, he's not in a good place. He's trying to get some money for so he can protect his fiance's girlfriend. But he keeps working with the wrong people.
Yep. Also the Lando.
Yeah, so Lando calls this.
Lando
lawyer.
needs a lawyer.
Yeah, Lando needs a lawyer.
He doesn't say why.
Yeah, I have a feeling that things are gonna come to a head with the Jabba plot line for him, because we still have not seen consequences for that plot line. Because basically he gave a droid to Jabba, and there have been no consequences to him doing, or no, he did. He did give that droid, which was like a translator droid that could translate like an ancient language. It came from the High Republic era. And so, there's some stuff there that we haven't had resolved yet. But also, like, probably some stuff involving the rebellion.
I am gonna laugh if Jabba takes them to court.
Yeah. So the next one is a fun little one that's connected to the Bounty Hunters comic. No, Dr. Aphra. Sorry, because Bounty Hunters has ended.
Yep. Oh, Aphra. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so we get a connection to the Aphra comic, which is basically it's called Tall Tales.
Yeah.
And it does exactly. It's basically a bunch of bounty hunters sitting around telling like their best like bounty and like doing exactly what you think.
Yeah.
Like it's a pissing contest.
Basically.
And this one bounty hunter begins to tell this really large and fantastic story about how she captured these brothers who basically were like untouchable because they come from rich family and...
What, you thought your money would save your life, kid?
Yeah. And so...
Nah, not in this business.
The story just gets more and more fantastical, and she's like... She is actively changing things as the story is being told. Like, she'll be like, oh yeah, it was a big Nexu. No, bigger than that. And, like, you see in the panels, I like that for the story that, like, they show in the art panels. Like, they show the Nexu, and she's like, no, bigger than that. And it grows, like, actively on the next panel. And so I like that. I like that type of stuff. Yeah,
oh,
thanks for popping
thank you. In. Have a good one.
But yeah, I like that they actively did that type of fun stuff. And so, at the end, everybody's, like, slack-jawed, and then they're just kind of like, what a load of bullshit.
They're like...
If Vakura of all people is calling you out for your bullshit. Yeah. Because Vakura's there, and she's just like... Because at this point, she's transferred to Bounty Hunter as her career path.
She's also actually killed a Nexu.
Yeah. Which is ironic to her being like, you didn't kill a Nexu. It's kind of ironic that she's the one that gets that line.
Yeah. And he's like... Vakura is like, you didn't kill a Nexu with your bare hands. I should know. You don't kill Nexus with your bare hands.
Yeah. It's funny because once again with the changing of the story, she's like, I punched the next.
Yeah. See, we'd have believed you if you said you stabbed it.
Yeah.
Because that's how you kill Nexus, I guess.
You ain't killing one like with a punch.
Yeah.
You're either shooting it or stabbing it.
And you didn't. Unless we checked, you're not a Wookiee, so I don't think you have that. You might surprise me though, but
yeah, so
I doubt it.
I do like this character. She seems really fun though.
She seems intense.
She reminds me of. I mean, we also see the administrator that was hunting Han. In that story, the one from the.
Yeah.
And then Dengar's also there.
Yep.
As one of the people, along with his girlfriend, and they're like the first to be like, that story's bullshit.
Yeah, every other bounty hunter at the table is like, you're a liar.
And then Lucky and Ariole are there. And Bosch. What's funny is Lucky and Bush's and Areole's story is actually true, which is they tell the story about them dealing with
and everyone's like, you're a liar. And it's like
with the Tag family with Domino, and they're like, you didn't do that.
And it's like, yeah, we did.
Yeah. Once again, Dengar's the first to open his big mouth because he's like, you didn't do that. It's like, shut up, Dengar.
Shut up, man.
Just because you get your ass handed to you every other week.
Doesn't mean we do. Sometimes we even manage to do things right.
Like, I don't think we have ever seen Dengar have a win.
No. That man has only taken losses.
He's only taken the L's.
Yeah. He's barely scraped by.
But the bounty hunter...
But now, Afra has yet again been put in someone's sights.
Yeah, so this bounty hunter, she... let me get her name again.
Alright.
Sorry, we're looking at the comic on my screen.
I was talking with Andrew about this. I'm like, Dr. Afra, kind of like the Indiana Jones of Star Wars.
Yeah. Except less morals.
Yeah, she never catches a break.
It's
like ever.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones except if Indy was okay with selling things to like private collectors and wasn't all pro museum.
Yeah.
Which also Indy, that museum collection is also bad, but that's a whole nother
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, the Royal British Museum definitely didn't steal all of the things that they have in it from the countries that they conquered at all. There isn't a reason that Black Panther scene exists where Killmonger...
He's so bad, but like it's very deserved.
What, me aiming my sights there?
Yeah.
What is their name?
Do we not get their name?
I think we do at the start. Raslin Grace.
Raslin Grace.
So Raslin Grace, though, reveals to like a Rodian server that the story isn't entirely bullshit, which makes sense. I mean, I think the whole thing about the bounty hunters doing that is that everybody knows that there's some bullshit when you tell those stories. Like, everybody knows it, and yeah, they'll jokingly call you out on it, but you never go as far as Raslin's story goes.
Yeah.
Like, Raslin went like extra mile.
She's like, I fucking love doing my job.
But in terms of, like, when I say extra mile, I mean, like, going so high with the lie. Like, it's the small things that you can lie about, like, in your story to make it, like, you basically become an entertainer and a storyteller.
Yeah.
Like, you
just for a little bit.
You sprinkle it
with
lies. And I think Raslin just told such a grand tale that everybody's just like...
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah. But we find out it's not 100% a lie, because she does have the earrings of the people that she killed, which is part of the story. And she tips the waiter with them. And then basically is like, I've set my sights on my next target, Afra, which once again is not for the money, because she reveals that none of this is for the money.
I never hunt for money, all for thrill of sport.
Yeah. I love being a bounty hunter so much that, yeah, the money's nice, but that's not why I do it. It's like, why? I mean, do what you love and get paid for it is essentially Raslin's MO on this.
Next up,
I believe, is the main... It's the Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Jango Fett story, which we are getting the Jango... this is the tie-in to the Jango Fett miniseries we're getting. So we kind of get an idea of what Jango Fett comic's going to be about. So he basically goes to visit one of his contacts, and bringing a dead body with him in the process, because basically the creature that was guarding his contact started shit with Jango. Or what the bodyguards did.
The bodyguards did.
And
so he just fucking killed him.
Well, I'd say he knocked him out.
Probably.
But anyways, it's this like tech guy. Like,
yeah, and he's
engineer.
like, "Hey, what can you tell me about this thing that was stolen?"
Yeah, the sounded like a Jedi artifact of some, or a Force artifact of some sort from the name of it.
He's like,
where is it?
Canto bite.
Oh no, it doesn't say yet. Hold on. But so he's looking for information. We don't know what for yet.
Yeah.
Off the bat, and instead the guy, his contact, is like, no, you owe me for fucking me over on Canto Bite, and unless you pay me for that, you ain't getting nothing. And Django's just like, nah, this isn't how that works. And so he's like, all right, cool. I'll send my core slug out to get you, which is the recanonization of core slugs, which appear in the Old Republic MMO. They are also what killed Dustin in that at the start.
Oh,
remember his Sith Lord character?
Yeah, I remember how his Inquisitor run
was very short.
It was very short-lived.
I tried to get him out of that, but he died twice, I think.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I resurrected you once. I can't. And so he died to core slugs.
A lot of people died in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck Sips made it out.
I guess theoretically now, though, that character wouldn't be dead because it would be part of the retcon, I think, that we plan to do.
Their status is ambiguous.
But giant core slug comes at Jango Fett, tries to eat him.
All right, nope.
The engineer's like, I haven't fed him in weeks.
Jango's like, that was a very poor decision for you.
But basically, Jango manages to beat the creature, and in the process, burns up some stuff, and eventually ties it up and knocks it out. And he's like, the hope of Lee Anselm, which does feel very Force artifact-y. But I am curious of how that ties in.
Yeah. I feel like... yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, Leanne's.
Yeah, Lee Anselm found... I did not do research before.
I'm like, episode. That is a fucking Star Wars name if I ever heard one. But I don't know where I've heard it.
Like, I am 90% sure I've heard it before.
Django's over here like, you could just tell me.
Oh, it's a planet.
Oh.
It's the home of the Nautolans.
Okay.
So, Kit Fisto and... Okay. I was like, I know that name. So, yeah, it's Gleant, the planet. So, but yeah...
Django's like, you could tell me, and the other guy's like, I don't want to. And he's like, all right.
I'm going to... you made a mistake of not feeding your pet.
He's like, yeah, you're kind of a dumbass for not feeding it for like 3 weeks, so... Oh, and this little control collar. Bang!
Yeah, so he shoots the control collar and just leaves. Because the guy's like, you need me for information. He's like, nope.
Not really.
I've got other ways of finding out.
Meanwhile, Aura Singh is like,
yeah,
should I just shoot this guy?
Yeah, we find out Aura is tracking him.
Yeah.
And then, like, she's working with somebody. I don't think we learned who.
Yeah, and it's like, we need him alive for now, so don't. Keep an eye on him, though.
So, yeah. So, I'm curious what's going on in the Jango Fett comic.
Yeah.
I think that was a good introduction to what's going on. You get an idea of... We know the mystery now. We know that Jango is after the Hope of Lee Anselm. I assume that the Jango comic is going to start over that story a bit. And, like, first issue's going to have to still, like, set up him getting that mission, probably. Because they're not going to count on the people that are reading that series to have read this beforehand. Yeah. They're going to still make it to where any newcomer can just buy issue 1 and know what's going on. The next one we get is the Mace Windu tie-in. Showdown at Ocean's Deep, where Mace goes undercover, essentially, at an underwater prison facility.
Yep.
Where there's some corruption.
Yep.
Turns out the warden has been making money by helping prisoners escape.
I don't know what Windu is on, but he's like fucking ready to go.
And so the problem is the warden's doing this because he is also, in a way, a prisoner. Because he's like, I'm in an underwater prison facility. You think I go home at the end of the day? No, I live here.
I have to live here.
I'm just as trapped as these prisoners.
I don't... What, you think we have vacation time? We don't.
I have to operate things here. And so...
So sometimes, when people pay me, I let them go.
And in fact, I'm planning to leave next.
Yeah. Anyhow, have fun with the droids. I'm out.
So he sets up some murder bots, some security guard bots to deal with Mace, while also sending a astromech droid that has the plans for the prison facility and shows like all the escape routes and key codes to the surface. That way, anybody who wants to use them can just use them from then on, including himself and his buddies to get him out.
He says, I'm out.
Mace Windu, of course, makes quick work of them, because of course he does. It's fucking Mace Windu.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Mace Windu.
Wham.
And unfortunately, as he almost catches up with the warden does escape.
He does catch up with the warden, but he's chasing after the droid because it's more important.
Yep. Yeah, so the warden essentially escapes, and as does the droid, making it to the surface. And so Mace then has to go out into the water with some deep breathing breath mask. Well, actually, no. He doesn't wear a mask. He just goes. Because I'm looking at the picture now. He's not wearing anything. He just takes a deep breath and goes, all right, let's do this.
Let's rock.
And that's where that ends. So I don't think we get a great idea of what the Mace Windu series is going to be about. But we get a fun little chase. Yeah, and maybe this will tie into the greater narrative, but I don't think it will. I think this was just setting the tone of the Mace Windu comic.
Next up
is the Vader tie-in.
Yeah.
Where Vader and the droid that he's been working with, because last time we read some Vader stuff, they fought a bunch of droids.
Yep.
And that droid turned out to be a traitor. He was like, no, I'm actually working for Vader the whole time. I quadruple crossed you.
I have duped you.
But basically the plan now is for them to convert droids in order to, well, initially the plan is to convert droids to deal with the rebellion. But the rebellion droid goes, hey, that's not really going to work. Because they do capture one, and he's like, that's not going to work because of how the programming is established. And so they realize, okay, we need a new plan, because my droids are not enough to stop the rebellion, and I have to deal with the rebellion myself every time the droids fail. So what they find out, though, is there's cyborg rebellion members, and that cybernetic systems are easier to hack than droid systems. And so they go... And of course, the evil behind it is that the living hell of not being in control of yourself that the cyborgs would be in, because...
man, that poor rebellion droid did not know who he was talking to. He was like, man, imagine becoming like a slave to your most hated enemy and being able to do nothing about it.
Meanwhile,
Vader's
flashbacks of Palpatine controlling them and going from Anakin to Vader.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to kill this droid.
Yeah.
This one reminded me.
Yeah, because the reason why he's talking about that is like, yeah, you're going to control them, and they're going to be awake every moment of it, but they won't be able to do anything about it. Which is a little bit more extreme than Vader's situation, but Vader's just like, yeah, my situation is close enough. And so, yeah. And so I guess that's where we're going with the Vader comic forward. Is Vader is still trying to undermine Palpatine, as always.
As is the way of the Sith.
And so I think he's trying to acquire a better army to do
Yeah.
so. And also to deal with the rebellion at the same time. Because
Yep.
he wants to be able to do both. And then we get our High Republic tie-in. With,
Hi, Keeve.
yeah, with all the Republic, which is Kiev going to part of the occlusion zone planets that she's around. Or near it, sorry. She's not in the occlusion zone. And helping out with a village that's being attacked by Nihil raiders.
Keeve, are you doing okay?
No, she's not.
I don't think
I
the
think
answer is
everybody-
yeah.
I think everybody in Phase 3 is not doing okay.
I don't think the answer is yeah.
To be fair, it's kind of the low of the
It's
lows
not.
right now.
They're like, oh, fuck.
But I do like that this story is really about still finding hope.
Mm.
And in a way, it's the Jedi lesson that I think a lot of Jedi stories try to tell when the Jedi are at their best, which is we are not here to control, and we are here to help, but we are also here to guide so that way you can help yourself and help others. And you don't need our help, really. We just provide the hope necessary to make people act most of the time.
Mm.
Because the story is the Nihil are talking about this other Jedi, and Keith's like, oh, there's another Jedi active in the area. I should find them. Turns out, not a Jedi, but they do have a lightsaber. And...
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Keeve, K-Eve.
Yeah.
I see what they did.
How you doing, man?
But Keeve is like, oh, yeah, we're not here to actually save you. We're here to... I am here to save you, but you seem to have already been on the job. And it kind of comes down to normal people can be the main heroes of the Star Wars universe as well, which I think is generally a good lesson in general, which is you don't have to have, like, superpowers or any, like, power at all to help.
Mm.
You can still be somebody to help your community.
Yeah.
And I think...
Things are bad in the High Republic, but they haven't quite lost just yet.
Yeah. And I think hope is still there, even if dim.
Yeah. However, my favorite one
is the last
is
one.
the last one because it's like...
Which is a Jabba the Hutt story, but we don't have a Jabba the Hutt comic that's been announced.
No.
So I don't know what this is a tie-in to. Maybe there is a Jabba the Hutt comic coming.
Maybe there is. Or maybe they're like, quick, we gotta throw in one more series in this year.
Yeah, which we didn't get any previews of Thrawn, even though he's on the cover.
Yeah.
We did get some previews of the art. I think, though, the reason they didn't do any previews of Thrawn is because it's an adaptation of one of the novels, so there's not really a lot you can do extra.
I hate womb.
Yeah, so we get the story of this kind of smuggler, reprobate type character who owes a lot of debt to Jabba, as they tend to. This is written by Mark Guggenheim, so I think this fits the tone for him, because he's also the one who did the Han Solo and Chewbacca comics.
Yep.
So this is kind of in the right vein for, I think, Mark. And so I think this fits.
Yeah, he's just...
And basically this reprobate, at the last second after Bane Maurer, this bounty hunter, finds him and tracks him down and is about to kill him, he's like, wait, I can pay off my debt. And Maurer's like, you don't got money. He's like, I can work my debt off.
Yep.
And he's like, fine, I'll bring you to Jabba and let him decide.
And somehow
he talks his way into it. Even though as we go through the comic, we learn that he basically has no, like, workable skills. Like, he has no life skills.
This man, he just kind of sucks. Like, I don't think that he's a bad person, but he's not very good at this criminal stuff.
Yeah, so, like, he talks about all the things he's done and, like, exploring the galaxy, and he's just like, yeah, I became one of the top lieutenants, and it's like, of course, this is from his perspective, so...
Tougher than Bib Fortuna, more subtle than Boba.
Meanwhile, running away and starting obvious gunfights, and then also he's like, but I also know how to, like, do, like, I can also be, like, somebody who does the negotiations for Jabba. Meanwhile, like, not really knowing the like cultures of most of these places that he's going,
Yep.
and kind of committing some faux pas that kind of work out in his favor. Like he's just lucky.
Yeah.
Ironic, like he's not good, but he's lucky.
Yeah.
And
motherfucker has cranked the luck stat as high as it'll go.
Like we see our bounty hunter friend from the Han Solo and Chewbacca comic.
He's like, just shut the fuck
up. And he's like, I've even killed mob bosses, and it's just like, nope, you watched a man choke and die in front of you and did nothing to save him.
Are you choking? This is great.
I mean, it's bad, obviously. Do you guys know any medical? And so, like, and then he's like, I also robbed an Imperial Bank cruiser. And it's like, no, you just ran into it and then you happened to take the money after you got into a wreck with a T-bone.
I guess you could say I'm the best around. Though my luck falls a bit short at times.
I would argue it's the other way around. I'd argue his luck is actually really good. It's just he's not good at anything.
Yeah.
But he brings the money enough for Jabba to be entertained by the guy. He's like, you're not good, but you pay the bills at the end of the day. You're not getting your debt wiped anytime soon, though.
To which my brain was like, don't worry, all you have to do is survive a little bit more.
Check. For some reason, it's showing I'm coming.
Yeah, you're the second person. Here.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me... Because it shows it should be coming through, but it's just... Because on our end, it I can see I'm far away from you, so it shows full bar for my mic. So I don't know what's going on.
Mic auxiliary, mic 2. Hello?
Well I think the echo is probably though, just because we have two mics near each other.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Let's just turn off yours for now.
All right, yeah.
We'll figure out a better solution eventually. For now, though, since we're already almost done with this episode, and so I
want to see what...
I'm curious about this character. So basically we learn he has no real, he doesn't speak really Huttese, which is a failure on him. You're working for the Hutts, you need to know a little bit more Huttese than he knows basically Spanish 1 level Huttese. And so he'll miss a few phrases and he'll just in his own brain be like, this is what it meant. And they're like, no, that's not what we meant, but we're not going to correct you. And so basically Jabba's like, you still owe money. We're going to send you on a job. Bib, go give him a job.
Yeah.
And so it turns out Bib is trying to work out a heist, essentially.
Also, here are your partners.
And yeah, they present the partners, which apparently he knows already.
He's like, God damn it.
But we have no, these are all new characters. These are all new characters.
I want to see what this crew of goofballs gets up to.
Yeah.
Because
of course he assumes leadership, and Bib's like, no, you're not the fuck. He's just like, fuck, you're not the leader. And so it's Donnie, Gamil, and Shahito Joe.
Well, not these two.
And so that's the end of that, and that was
good, you already know each other.
And that's the end of the Revelations comic. We get some previews of the Thrawn Alliance's adaptation with some art that's in black and white for the comic, as well as some cover art. Get some previews of Vader stuff as well. But yeah, a lot to look forward to.
I am looking forward to Django and this crew.
Yeah, Django and whatever the Jabba the Hutt thing is. I feel like those are definitely top for excitement, because I think it's because they're fresh and new. Because while obviously we're gonna read the mainline comic and we're gonna read the Vader comic, and of course we love the High Republic, something new is always good to see. And it's always a lot of these mini series I wish would become longer, but it's not always the case.
Yeah, remember, sometimes a long story does not necessarily make it a good one.
No, but a lot of these mini series I would like to explore a lot of them. I feel like the Han Solo and Chewbacca one got cut short, personally. Although I know it didn't get a lot of numbers, which is why it ended. Same thing with why Bounty Hunters is now done. Is they just weren't getting their numbers. And then I mean, Vader and mainline Star Wars are always going to make their numbers because they're the mainline. They're the big two.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Mickey Mouse of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have your Vader and you're gonna have your mainline. And then, you know, I would like to see more of like these characters that are big but haven't had their own stories to focus on too much of. Like Django is still such an enigma.
Yeah,
Especially within canon. Like in Legends, we got so much Django, but in canon, there's a lot less, and it's become a frustration with fans where they are having heavy debates about Jango Fett as a character because of misinformation regarding stuff that's Legends that people cross over into canon, but also just because there's not a lot of canon material about him explaining his story.
What I want to know, is Django a good dad?
I think he was an okay dad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him in good dad, but I wouldn't put him in bad dad.
Yeah.
He was an okay dad, although he definitely left a lot of his children alone. A lot of his children he let them he sent them out for adoption with the Kaminoans. Really, it was only Boba.
One unaltered clone.
Yeah, he only wants one. He wanted one son, and that was it, and the rest.
Fuck him. Said Django, I don't care.
Of course, we're making the joke that, of course, treating the other clones as his children as well. If he counts Boba as his children, technically all of them are his children as well. But yeah, so.
Admittedly, like, Django's first act is like, oh no, a Jedi appeared? Bert, get the fuck out.
I'm also excited about the Mace Windu content, because Mace Windu is also in a similar position of Django, of that like, we just don't know a lot in canon about him.
We know what you do.
We know his master's name from when he was younger, but that's really about it. We know that who his master was. We know the lineage, like his apprentice and the lineage that he has with Depa-Blaba, Kanan, and Ezra, but we don't know his personal story. And of course, once again, it's another thing of the fans just have very conflicting feelings about Mace, because he has this attitude that is read very...
You either like him or like, wow, what an asshole.
Yeah, and that's kind of the... And I think learning more about a character can change that perspective. I feel like people would be open to Mace Windu as a character if they knew him, but we don't. We don't know him. And the perspectives we get of him are not... They're an outsider perspective. Yeah. And I honestly feel at the end of the day, Mace Windu is not wrong about a lot of his positions. He has that attitude that if you don't know him, reads asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's very standoffish, but not... I don't think he means to be mean or harsh. I think he's just honest. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's just brutally honest.
It's like, Yoda, man, we should probably tell them.
Yeah. So I think he's just brutally honest, and it just comes off as a way. So we're getting this comic about him, and I think that's going to be a great way to kind of get to know him more. It's not the first miniseries we've gotten of him. We got the Jedi Republic, we got the Jedi of the Republic comic of him, which is we're going to read this season. It's a Clone Wars storyline, so we're going to get to read that this season. And of course, we're going to read the Mace Windu comic when it comes out in its entirety for the miniseries. And then, of course, we're going to read the novel that's coming out, because he's also got his own novel coming out that's going to reflect on, like, his personal opinions of Qui-Gon and his friendship with Qui-Gon and the complications with that. And then we also got the Council book that's coming out as well, which is going to have Mace as well. So all these, there's a lot of Mace content coming to us this year.
I imagine with Mace and Qui-Gon's relationship is like, man, Qui-Gon, you're my friend, but could you quit doing shit off the books?
Yeah, like it's. I feel like it's going to be very similar to the Dooku relationship that he had, because in Tales of the Jedi, he doesn't read as I disrespect Dooku. In fact, it reads as I respect you as a friend, but I think you're making some bad choices. And I feel like it's the same. I feel like it's the same relationship, because Qui-Gon is Dooku's apprentice, and so Qui-Gon is very much in the same vein as Dooku on a lot of things, Except Qui-Gon has a little bit more lines that he's not willing to cross that Dooku is.
Dooku, I'm fucking tired of this.
And so I think...
You want to keep treating poor people poorly? Don't worry, you'll be in the dirt with them.
A mixer, we are... I don't...
Do you mean audio?
Yeah, I think he's
stuff?
talking audio.
Fuck if I know, man. He handles tech stuff.
I am not.
I read books.
I have the audio mixer in front of me, but it's just like, it's not... I don't... Using OBS, but I'm not...
I read books, and he makes me talk for like an hour.
Yeah, I do all the tech stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk out of because he's good with that stuff. So
all right.
I'll have to talk.
Because like we were having some problems earlier, and things just aren't quite working how they normally do.
Yeah, normally the balance isn't too bad, but for some reason today it's just like I know we get a little bit of echo because I can see yours is. It's turned. I've muted it, but we can still see the line for it because your mic is still on. It's just muted, and so like it's going all the way, and your mic is all the way over there.
Yeah.
Whereas this
I could move it further.
Yeah. The problem is you wouldn't see you, and so we'll have to figure out some stuff off air.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. This year is great for... I mean, I think for me, Star Wars content is always great. But I think this year, in particular, we have a lot of good stuff coming up. We've got some great comics. We've got some great novels. And we're not all the novels, I think, are announced for this year. There's probably at least... I think there's at least one or two more that haven't been announced this year. Because generally, they release... non-High Republic stuff they've kind of tried to do like every 3 to 4 months, and we've gotten 2 books announced that aren't High Republic content, so I think we'll get at least 1 or 2 more announced before the year ends. And then on top of that, for this season for the show, we're finally in the prequel era, so of course we're going to get to talk prequel content, and so as well as continuing to talk about stuff that's coming out as it comes out. In fact, we're gonna go back to something that I planned to talk about last season that we just didn't yet, and that's gonna be the next episode, I think.
All right.
And since we're wrapping up, I will go ahead and give us a preview of what we're gonna talk about next week. Let me double check on the schedule. Yes, so next week we're talking Crimson Climb, the one that I almost cheated you out of points of on the timeline game last week.
Yep. I caught you.
You caught me because you were like, we didn't read that. I was like, oh yeah, I read that, but you didn't. And so...
Because of reasons.
Yeah, because we just didn't... I put it on the schedule, but then I adjusted the schedule because Ahsoka... We could finally talk Ahsoka, so I had to adjust for that because the strike ended, so we were able to talk about some stuff again that I had originally taken off the schedule. And then we were like, well, we want to end the season at 100 episodes. We don't want to go past that for the season. And so I had to cut some new content out so we could finish the stuff that was important for that season, which was finishing the High Republic era stuff that was currently out at the time. So this season, we're of course going to talk about High Republic as it's coming out still, new stuff that's coming out, and prequel era, specifically the Fall of the Jedi era is what it's now officially canonically called. So next week, Crimson Climb. The week after that, we're going to do another comic double feature. We're going to talk the Darth Vader Black, White, and Red, as well as the Hyperspace Stories, Volume 2. And then that's basically the end of this month's schedule at the moment. If any of our Star Wars friends want to guest and talk about stuff, I can show y'all. I'm willing to share the full current schedule. Schedule is always fluctuating, though, just to be open about that, because whenever new content gets announced, I have to add it to the schedule. But if you want to see the current schedule, I'm willing to share it, and then if we pick a date for a guest, then we'll try to lock that in, even if new content comes out, and just go, that episode is going to stay on that date.
Yep.
that way, because that's generally what I try to do as a rule whenever we have a guest, is I try to just keep that date as that topic. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this season. I'm excited about this year. Thank you all for watching.
I may not look like it, but I am.
Yeah, we were up late because of D&D last night, and
I stayed up even later after that, going over other things.
So you're exhausted from that, but I think
I can still keep going.
Yeah, but I know you, Seth, and I think the people who watch us consistently enough know that even though you are monotone at best, you still have you're still excited.
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody for checking us out. I got to pull up the script because my brain, I am also still kind of. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. You can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley.
Yo.
Who is, it's now been 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years of her being our patron supporter. There you can watch our YouTube content before it becomes publicly available. And so, as well as get access to my books. I don't push that enough. I am an author. I have written 3 books that I published through Amazon. And if you wish to get them on a cheaper end, join our Patreon, and you get all 3 on one of the tiers for basically almost half the price of what
Speaking of books, did you get that thing I sent you?
Did you send me something new?
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay. So there's plenty of ways you can support us through the Patreon. There's a lot of giveaway type things that I have on there. And speaking of our YouTube content, of course, we've got our Grim Hollow campaign that's going to start coming out soon on YouTube. If you want to watch them before anybody else, the first... let's see, 3, 4, 5. First 3 sessions that we've actually recorded are available on the Patreon soon. The first 2 are now. 3 will be hopefully this week. Today or tomorrow is the plan. If you want to watch them ahead of everybody else, now's the time to do so. Session 3, the 3rd session will be down the line publicly, but I think the first one out of those 3 is going to be probably this week publicly available, if I remember correctly. And so you can join for only $5 a month. $10 though gives you more things. Actually, you can join for $1, but $5 gets you the videos. I also plan to try and get some more D&D campaigns going down the line, as we talked about. But you can also find me on Twitter at EscapeReality94 and Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Caleb.Lockwood. Speaking of D&D stuff, though, what's going on with our friends?
Every Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, you can catch me and some friends of ours over at the Steam Dungeon on YouTube, where we play a campaign called Trials of Nebu. We took a break for the holidays, so the plot has not advanced. However, I'm going to cut deals with people who have more power than I do.
So I guess now's the best. Once, like we talked about last week, now's the best time to catch up then with the VODs on YouTube.
See you later.
Yeah,
I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Oh yeah. So that's my brain didn't connect that.
Yeah, I was like real weird about this, but sure.
My brain didn't connect it because I read K-Eve and I'm like, it's funny because we said Kiev at the time because we were talking about Kiev.
Like, no, our friends.
It's our friend. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll ask it real quick.
Yeah, we can talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Because we still got. Sorry, I may have misread your question, and I was, if you were trying to. I'm trying to figure out. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk after. We'll talk after.
you'll figure it
Yeah, I'll
out.
figure it out. Any other?
Other than that, no, nothing comes to mind. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you all for joining, and thank you to our friends.
Yeah.
First episode for the new season, and we got a pretty good. I feel like a decent show out for the
Decent
first.
amount of interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, next week, once again, we're gonna read Crimson Climb.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all,
Kira's ascent to the top.
yeah. So if y'all wish to be part of that conversation, y'all can go check it out. E.K. Johnston is the author. And so we'll see you all around the same time next week. I have spoken.
Y'all be safe out there.